If you work from home, you could be eligible for the home office tax deduction. Compared to many other tax deductions, the home office deduction can be a quite significant tax deduction, so it's definitely not something that you want to overlook. Some people think that setting up a home office deduction can be complicated or can be stressful, but it's really not that bad. What's up, guys? I'm Karlton Dennis. Welcome back to Taxes Made Simple, and in today's training, I'm going to explain everything that you would like to know as it pertains to taking the home office deduction, including who qualifies, including how to set it up, and how much you could potentially reduce your taxable income just by having one. So let's get started. All right, guys, what is the home office deduction? Before we talk about how to set up the home office deduction, let's go over what it actually is. The home office deduction is a tax deduction that is for people who use part of their home exclusively for business. The IRS allows this deduction because it essentially views expenses required for maintaining a home office as business expenses. What kind of expenses, though, count towards having a home office deduction? There are a wide variety of expenses that can count towards taking a home office deduction. These expenses can include your rent, they can include your utilities, your repairs, your real estate taxes, maintenance, your mortgage interest, insurance, depreciation, and it really can just go up from there. So let's discuss who qualifies for the home office deduction. First and foremost, you need to be aware that only self-employed people or people who run their own businesses can qualify for the home office deduction. Employees lost the ability to qualify for the home office deduction in 2018. But the good news is that if you're self-employed, both renters and homeowners can claim the home office deduction. So you won't be disqualified from this deduction if you rent your own home, which is a good fact. In fact, the home office deduction could potentially apply to you no matter what kind of home you live in, an apartment, a house, a condo, or even a boat. You cannot, however, use it for temporary lodging, such as a hotel or Airbnb rental. The home office deduction also applies to freestanding structures that you might have on your property and use for your office, such as a garage or a barn or even a studio. And as long as you use the area exclusive and regularly for business purposes, it is not a temporary lodging, then you will most likely qualify for the home office deduction. It is also important to note that your home office must be your primary place of business in order to qualify for the deduction. So for example, if you work full-time at your office outside of your home, but sometimes do work in a spare room at home, this would make you ineligible for the home office deduction. If you do most of your work in the spare room, but sometimes work outside of the home or meet clients outside of the home, etc., then you would qualify for the home office deduction. But let's talk about how this deduction is actually calculated. When it comes to calculating your home office deduction amount, there are two primary options that you can take: the simplified option or the regular option. So let's talk about the simplified option first, because it's a lot more straightforward and easy. With the simplified option, all you have to do is calculate how many square feet your home office is. Then you get a $5 deduction up to 300 square feet. With this method, you don't actually have to go through and calculate the individual expenses that you're incurring for your home, such as the rent and mortgage. You just get a standard $5 deduction per square foot. The regular option, on the other hand, involves you actually going through and figuring out all of the individual deductible expenses related to your home office, such as maintenance, repairs, mortgage, interest, utilities, and this list can go on. But you have to add them all up. In addition to adding all of the individual expenses, you also need to know what percentage of your home's square footage and your home office represents. So for example, if you're in a 2,000 square foot home and your home office is 200 square feet, then your home office would represent 10% of your home's total square footage. For all allowable indirect home office deductions such as rent or utilities where the expenses go partially to your home and partially to your home office, you can deduct the expenses proportionally to the percentage of the home that your home office takes up. With the example above, you would be able to deduct 10% of your rent, 10% of your utilities, 10% of your home office deductions based on the home office percentage that's being used, which is 10%. Expenses that are directly related to your home office, however, and are not related to the rest of your home can be 100% deducted. For example, if you spent $500 to paint your home office, this expense would be fully deductible. But what is the better option, the simplified method or this more advanced method? If you qualify for the home office deduction, and if you want to use it this year, then you're going to have to choose between using the simplified method and the regular method. With the simplified method, you can only receive a maximum deduction of $1,500, which may not sound like a whole lot. With the regular method, you could potentially have a significantly higher deduction. It will depend on how large your home office is in proportion to the rest of your home and what the individual expenses are for your home. Now, some people hesitate to go with the regular method for the home office deduction, even though they think that it will give them a larger overall tax deduction, and most times it does. This is because they are afraid of being audited or making a mistake when they are doing their calculations. If you fall into this category, then don't worry, you're not alone. But even if you have a little anxiety about using the regular method, you shouldn't let this stop you from using it, because it could translate to thousands of tax dollars that you're saving each and every year that you're working from home. Now, the amount that you're receiving can also be applied to future investments. Instead of just using the simplified deduction out of fear, you can always get a tax professional to help you set up your regular home office deduction properly. You should always at least calculate your regular home office deduction to see if it's worth more than the $1,500 from the regular method. Setting up your home office deduction, most likely you will not be audited for a home office deduction if you do it correctly. Here are some great tips for setting up your home office deduction correctly that will help reduce your audit risk when it comes time to file your tax returns. Number one, always keep all of your receipts. Keeping the receipts for your home office expenses will allow for you to prove, with a capital P, that all these expenses you claimed in your home office were related and legitimate to taking the home office deduction. Number two, designate an area of your home for your home office and stick to this area for business. This could be a spare room, an actual office room, a part of your basement, a space above your garage. It could be anywhere, but just make sure you only do business in this area and do not use it for any other purposes. Make sure that you measure your home office to get the square footage. You will need to make sure that you have the exact square footage of your home in order to do either the simplified or the regular home office deduction method correctly. And if you're going to do the regular home office deduction, you will also need to know the square footage of your entire house. Now, just to recap, the home office deduction is a deduction that you might be able to qualify for if you work from home and you're self-employed. However, you will also need to make sure that you are documenting 100% of your expenses to qualify. If you are an employee of a company, this deduction is not for you. I'm sorry, but if you are self-employed, you can qualify for this deduction if you have a home office in your home that you work out of the majority of the time. This office has to be exclusively used for business. It doesn't matter whether you rent your home or own it, you can always take the simplified method or the regular method to qualify for a home office deduction as long as it's your primary place where you conduct business. It also doesn't matter whether you live in a house or an apartment or a condo or a boat. If you have a home office in any of these structures, you can qualify to take this deduction. Now, temporary residences such as hotel rooms, Airbnbs, we talked about this, they don't qualify. And if you're going to use the home office deduction, you can calculate this with the simplified version or the regular version. For each option, you will need to know the square footage of your home. If you need help calculating your home office deduction, if you want tips for how you should take your home office deduction correctly, feel free to visit my guide below. I created a free guide that's a step-by-step walkthrough of how to take the home office deduction legally. If you're a self-employed individual, if you own rental real estate and you want a guide that shows you how to do it, feel free to click the link below. I look forward to seeing you guys on this next video. My name is Karlton Dennis. Thank you for your time today. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I look forward to helping you take more deductions legally.